Welcome to Beyond the Forecast. How are you doing today, Brian?
Not too bad. Just looked at the latest GFS and I got stoked.
Yes.
Surf-wise.
Surf-wise,
Not
yeah.
so much for our weather, but
No, our weather's
definitely our surf. I was just looking at it.
Yeah, the weather for our area doesn't look to be so good as we'll have this coastal storm that could be a little bit strong moving into the area. Strong winds.
Me and Christy were saying yesterday that I think this one will probably be the strongest of the coastal lows that we see in these past few, because we've had a couple in the past, 2 months. I think this will be the strongest one.
This will be the strongest one that we've seen so far this year.
I think this could possibly be stronger than what Aaron was for our area. I know that might be a little bit of a, maybe a crazy take, but
that gave us major tidal flooding in Virginia Beach, Lynn Haven Inlet.
I think this could maybe rival it. Rival it.
So we don't really have much to show you on the satellite right now because it hasn't developed. It's going to develop right on top of us. There is another storm that is out in the Atlantic. That's Jerry. That storm's staying out to sea. No changes with that. Just a real quick look at what that thing is doing. 65-mile-an-hour winds, Category 1 hurricane, off it goes. So that storm, not a concern for us. We're not going to spend any more time talking about that because it's not going to cause any big problems.
Usually when a hurricane is off shore like that, you would expect, okay, we'll see some long period swell come our way. But with the timing of Jerry coming up right when that coastal low is, I think the effects of Jerry are completely canceled out by the fact that there is a strong low right over top of us.
Right.
There could be a little bit of an underlying background swell in the water, but it's not going to make a big difference when the winds are 50 miles an hour plus right along the coast in the middle of a storm.
So this one, as it comes in, we'll likely see the rain move in sometime on Saturday. Maybe not right away.
I think this model is, it's showing a lot of that rain up towards the eastern shore and stuff during the morning. I think for the most part, our morning is dry. I think we have clouds, but I think we stay dry. It's areas to the south, towards Morehead City, down through Ocracoke and Hatteras, parts of eastern North Carolina that see the rain first in the morning.
Yep.
And it just progressively gets a little bit worse and worse in terms of the intensity and the wind going through the morning and afternoon there. But I think for us in Hampton Roads, we probably hold off until the later afternoon hours, maybe even the evening.
So you can see this model has poor resolution, and what I mean by that is it's very splotchy with that area of green. It has it all the way up into Delaware. I simply don't see that happening. What we want to look at that area of brighter green towards Cape Hatteras. Let's say that is where the rain line begins. So then that doesn't move into the Hampton Road cities until maybe the middle of the afternoon, around maybe 3 or 4 o'clock. So the initial push of that rain is going to take a while to arrive. And when it does arrive, it'll start light, as they always do with these kind of storms, because it's overriding that dry air that's in place right now. So it has to overcome that. So we'll have light showers at first. It won't be just instant downpours when this thing moves in. The rain continues into the evening, and then overnight it does look to be getting heavier with that wind that also starts to get going too.
Yeah, the winds could be starting out, 25 to 30 miles per hour for the gusts early or, during the afternoon hours for Hampton Roads on Saturday. But overnight, this thing really kicks into gear. The Outer Banks especially will, just look at the latest numbers. Easily, we could see gusts over 50 miles per hour.
This model, this is the GFS-based product here. This has the low going right on top of the eastern parts of North Carolina, and that's 6:30 in the morning on Sunday, while we're in the heavy rain zone in Virginia Beach and into the peninsula. Then into the mid-morning hours and towards the midday hours, that low starts to shift due north and goes right on top of us in the early afternoon and into the late afternoon. So the wind may actually calm down if the low goes right on top of wherever you live. If you're not in that zone, then it's still going to be pretty windy on Sunday. The rain heaviest in the morning Sunday, and then not as heavy in the afternoon, but there still will be rain coming down, and the wind will still be strong. But this is what we were talking about at the beginning. That wind changes to be offshore. It's a westerly wind by Monday morning.
This is what I was getting stoked about, surfing-wise.
Southwest at 11 a.m. Look at that.
Yeah, that's good. That's good wind direction for surfers. That's also good for tidal flooding purposes. This gets the water back out.
Yes.
Because tidal flooding is going to be potentially a major concern going into Sunday. We could be looking at major tidal flooding, especially across the south side. That maybe could rival what we've seen with Aaron.
Yeah, so for the tidal flooding, let's pull that up here. So the tide chart, this is looking at Sewell's Point's tides. We're going to get more locations as we get closer So for the peninsula, for Virginia Beach, we'll get those numbers as this event gets closer because we're already extending it out. We're skipping the high tide for this evening and overnight, and we're going right into tomorrow's noon tide. So we're already skipping one just because I wanted to show you that Sunday one, and that has it at 6.5 feet. So that's at the threshold for major tidal flooding, and that's a good representation for most of the Hampton Road cities. Essentially, if Sewell's Point is saying something, it's probably going to be the same thing for your area too. It could be a little bit different depending on location and the geography and the water inlet system, but that's what we're seeing as we look ahead into our Sunday. For the Lynnhaven River and Virginia Beach, major tidal flooding begins at 5.5 feet, but you use a different forecast. So the model that I see at 1 p.m. Sunday has 6 feet at 1 p.m. So that's before high tide. That's about 2 hours before high tide. That's as far as this model goes out. So I don't know exactly what it'll be, but I would say maybe 6.25. So you could see major tidal flooding where the water levels at that point are 8 inches above major tidal flooding threshold.
Which is pretty significant.
Yes.
For our area, especially where we're so prone to this kind of saltwater intrusion. But we also have to think it's not just the saltwater flooding. Rainwater, rain could be pretty heavy too with this thing.
Yes, it will be heavy.
We could see, there could be some areas getting 4 or 5 inches of rain out of this.
Right. There could be a lot of rain out of this thing. Let's see. I have not updated this yet. This is the QPF. I have not seen this yet. I think it's updated. It was last updated right before the midday newscast.
We just got a good comment here. Thank you for catching this. Yeah, it's, Bayside tidal flooding with the west winds for the eastern shore. Definitely something we have to also think about.
Yeah, maybe.
As the wind goes west, some of
maybe.
those places, the west-facing, shorelines there could maybe see a little bit of water.
Let me see here. I'm pulling up Nassawadox Creek right now. Moderate tidal flooding. No, I'm sorry. That was wrong. Minor tidal flooding. Saturday at 2. Nothing 3 a.m. Not an issue, maybe minor. And then that's all I know. Into Sunday, I only go into 1, and it has it at minor.
Okay, so it's staying still a little bit low. We'll have to see, though, when it gets later in the day because the storm is obviously working north.
Yes. So that's something that we'll keep an eye on for the Bayside of the Eastern Shore. Right now, no concern really for Saturday or for Sunday morning. Sunday afternoon, maybe minor to moderate, just based on how the data looks right now.
Right.
But that's still the wind changing direction. And that assumes the storm system is on top of us and we get that westerly wind. So that's one thing that we'll have to see. Let me just pull it up here so you can see it. So this is what we're looking at right now. This is the chart for Nassawadox Creek, and you can see on the right side, I know it's right on the edge of the screen, but it goes to 3.2, and that's as of 1 p.m. on Sunday.
So it definitely could maybe get close to that moderate stage. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
We'll have to definitely see.
For areas north, not seeing tidal flooding in the forecast right now. It's staying below flood threshold, so that's okay. Tangier Island, there will be some tidal flooding from this thing. You can see the tidal flooding. The highest one is Saturday at 4 p.m. So it looks like the 4 p.m. will be the high tide time. We simply just don't have data yet for Sunday.
Not yet.
It's just too far out.
Too far out. We'll get that. We'll get that squared away though. I think tomorrow we'll start to have a better idea, and then this weekend, of course. But yeah, look at that for the south side.
Yep, south side and the peninsula. Yep.
Moderate to major for the peninsulas.
And look how the
south side.
The peninsula shoots up to at 1 p.m. Remember, high tide, let's see, the previous high tide was at 2 a.m. So you can roughly go 12 hours. It's not exactly 12 hours. It's close enough to that. But you can just say 2 p.m. So an hour before high tide, you're at 5.3. Usually an hour before high tide, it's not changing as dramatically as it was 3 hours before. So 5.4, 5.5 maybe. So it could be getting close to major tidal flooding on Sunday afternoon for the peninsula. A couple of things we got to watch for as we go into the next couple of days. But this coastal storm, heavy rainfall, as you saw earlier, heavy rainfall, 2 to 4 inches for the coastal location. So that's going to be some serious rain. Here's a look at the European model, just showing this. The one we just looked at was kind of a curated forecast based on a couple of models. Here's just one model update, and you can see it has a big amount of rain for Cape Hatteras, 7 inches.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if there's like a very isolated few locations in eastern North Carolina that see a quick pop of like 5+.
Yep.
With just the way that the storm seems to be trending. But I think in general, 2 to 4 near the coast. I think I-95 is going to be our threshold for how west does the rain come.
More than
Probably
likely.
1 to 2 as you go from I-95 and then towards like the middle of our viewing area, towards the coastline. If you kind of split I-95 and the coastline, right in the middle there will be like the 1 to 2 to 2 to 4 kind of threshold.
Yep.
I think it'll be pretty much following that track from what I've been seeing.
Yeah, I have no disagreement on that. That's been kind of the thought process that I've had too here in the last 24 hours. So that sounds great. Here's the wind gust Saturday at 9:30 p.m. It starts to really get strong. Cape Hatteras 45-mile-an-hour wind gust. Not too bad in Virginia though. For our day on Saturday, the wind gusts get up to 30 miles an hour.
20 to 30.
We're gonna be fine on Saturday,
Which we can handle, and inland areas will be even less. So there could be some areas well inland are like, what coastal storm?
Saturday
Not
is
there yet.
If you don't have time to take down the outdoor decor for Halloween, if you have a lot of stuff up, you can do that on Saturday.
Yes.
Saturday's a good day to prepare for the stronger winds.
And this, again, is for areas especially north of the state line.
Yes. There's 1 a.m. on Sunday.
Really starting to howl there down in the Outer Banks.
Yeah, that's
and it's
really
straight
strong.
on shore. This is this is beach erosion. This is overwash along NC-12. I was looking at some of we could see the buoys could shoot up to 15 plus feet.
More than likely. We just got a bulletin from Morehead City here for their latest briefing, and they're saying there will be coastal flooding of 1 to 3 feet for the Outer Banks.
Yeah, that's not surprising. Especially,
and that's through Saturday afternoon.
Especially
through Monday, it's 2 to 4 feet.
Yeah,
for the Southern
I was
Outer
going to
Banks.
say that's got to be higher if it's the peak of the storm, because you got to think there are some really compromised areas down there when it comes to NC-12 and the dune systems there. There's some areas that like they see storm, like crews see storms like this coming up, and they just push sand as much as they can to just help mitigate a little bit.
Yeah,
and Mother Nature is going to always win that battle.
Overwash is going to happen on Sunday.
Oh, it's guaranteed.
I mean, look at the wind at 3:30 in the morning.
65 now.
mile an
It's
hour.
going back up.
Weather Service in Morehead City saying 2 to 5 inches of rain plus for the Southern Outer Banks. So that's what we're seeing on our forecast too.
Sunday, I will be storm chasing. If this is the case,
Yeah.
I will be looking for big wind.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of wind, but you probably won't be able to get down to the Southern Outer Banks.
Definitely not going down there. I have my own personal interests with this storm in terms of the surf potential.
You're going to be standing on the beach watching the waves form.
I might, but I will say it's not going to be very safe to get down towards Buxton and towards Hatteras, where NC-12 is probably going to be closed on Sunday at the very least.
Yep.
But also all the the debris still laying around from these past couple weeks.
Yep.
Just not safe to be in the water at all, especially down towards Buxton in general.
Yeah. Here's Sunday morning, 7 a.m., 50-mile-an-hour winds for Virginia Beach, possible 45 to 40 for the peninsula and the eastern shore.
Aaron wasn't even this high for the south side of the peninsula.
I don't remember.
I think this is a little, and obviously the storm's closer. The center of this storm is closer, but I mean we could see a gust 55 miles per hour for the eastern shore.
Yep.
Heading into through the town Sunday.
So one thing to note here, we're seeing noon on Sunday, and we're seeing 50 miles an hour in Virginia Beach. That's assuming that the low is right on top of Virginia Beach.
This could wiggle a little bit.
And it also is just for Virginia Beach. This does not mean the wind for Suffolk or for Norfolk or for Franklin.
It will be a lot less.
You're going to have, you would have, if this verifies, it could be calmer in Virginia Beach, but it would still be windy in those other spots west.
It could be, but
30 to 40.
Yeah, it could be. Thinking always these inland areas, friction.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that.
There's going to be a little bit of that, of course. But if you get a heavy enough rain squall moving in, you can maybe mix down from the upper levels. Some heavy enough rain to mix down those winds from up aloft.
It still happens.
You could get a quick gust.
Yeah, it can still come through. So even a 35, 40 mile an hour gust could take down a tree. So there might be some spotty power outages on Sunday. So if you have a generator, maybe gas it up, get it ready to go, just in case. If we do have some issues, I don't believe we'll have widespread issues, but we can have them. It happened with Aaron moving through and the wind we got from that. Into Sunday evening, the wind is still looking quite strong. So we're looking at We're watching the storm system, a coastal storm that could be developing into the weekend, bringing a lot of wind. We ended Sunday at 6 p.m. The wind continues overnight into Sunday night at 9 p.m. We still have some strong winds. Monday, we're seeing the winds not as strong, but there still will be gusts around 25 miles an hour out of the west. So a little bit of flooding for the bay side of the Eastern Shore is a possibility. We're going to have to watch for that Monday morning and maybe Monday afternoon if this thing still goes.
And for the surfers, this will be a day to target.
Yes. It
I
could be a
think
day
so.
to target.
There will be a pretty decent shot of swell still in the water, some nice leftovers on Monday. Because the storm, if it does take this track, it's pretty inland. It's not like we're constantly creating this fetch of surf. It will be one of those things where this swell will likely be, if you don't score it on Monday, it will likely be gone Tuesday and Wednesday.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Just because the storm is inland at this point, or, you know, it's not out in the ocean enough to be constantly creating swell.
Right.
And it's moving, of course, north. You know, it's not hanging around forever. Where I actually do think, though, it won't drop off as quick as some normal East Coast swells is the fact that we have Jerry in the water.
Yep.
Jerry might give us a little bit of a lingering swell with offshore winds.
It'll send a little pulse.
Into Tuesday, maybe Wednesday at little pulse. It won't be nearly as big, but it will be at least a run of swell with potentially good conditions, which I know I've been out in the water hearing the complaints about it. Everybody's been pretty bummed about every single swell, it seems like this year, has been one with northeasterly winds, while New York, Florida, the southeast, everybody's been getting good swell.
Oh, I think we've had great waves this year. This has been the best waves we've had in years.
Don't lie to yourself,
No.
Jeff. Don't lie to yourself.
Trying to be positive. Here's a look at the comparison just between two models. So into the weekend, we have that storm system. We're looking at those circles here. So the tight circle around Hatteras is what we're seeing for the GFS.
That's the GFS.
That's the center of the storm. The red circles would be the Euro. And we can see the tiny circle for the Euro keeps it more offshore. So that would change the dynamics of where the wind will be, how strong the wind will be, and how much rain we'll get out of the storm.
Yeah, if this storm goes 100 miles east, like we're getting way less rain.
Yes, because that cutoff that we were talking about at I-95 now becomes the ocean front.
The ocean front of Virginia Beach.
Yes.
Yeah.
So that cutoff line changes based on the track of the low. So the rain totals can still change a little bit, but what we do see, though, by Sunday evening is that the Euro brings the storm closer to the shore. It brings it back to the west or back left, and that brings us more wind, and it gives some more rainfall to the northern half of our area.
Yeah, and this steering pattern is due to high pressure, strong high pressure way to the north. Mm-hmm. That will likely be situated across, the interior sections of the northeast. Remember, winds spin clockwise around high pressure. So any storm, if there's high pressure to our north, if there is a low pressure coming up from the south, it could hit that and get steered west. That's what the Euro is kind of hinting at there. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So we'll be watching that. It's really going to be, it could be a matter of 50 to 100 miles, depending on which track the storm takes as to how much rain we get, how much of a push of surge we get.
Yeah.
Just all our problems overall will be, dictated on how far away the storm is, the center of the storm is.
So again, the rain, if you're just joining in, the rain moves in Saturday afternoon. The heavy rain really gets to be going way after sunset Saturday night, and then into Sunday. We'll have rainfall amounts Sunday morning. We could have already had 1 to 2 inches fall by 5:30 in the morning. Total, we could get 2 to 4 inches for most areas, maybe 2 to 5 plus for the southern Outer Banks on this weekend ahead. Sunday at 8 a.m., still a lot of rain coming down. So going to those Sunday morning services on Sunday is going to be tough because you're going to have sideways rain coming down.
Exactly.
So a lot of people may wear their Sunday best. This time around, maybe just wear the one that you don't care if it gets a little wet.
Because it's going to get wet.
Because it's going to get wet. Yeah, it's going to be what everyone's going to be talking about when you get to wherever you're going on Sunday morning. Sunday brunch, too, same kind of thing. Mm-hmm. Sunday at midday, the rain's still coming down. The wind could be strong, but look at how the rain lingers into the evening. So Sunday will be a rainy day, likely all throughout the day across our area. Great if you just put down grass seed. It should be okay as long as the rain doesn't get too heavy and it washes away.
Yeah, that's always the thought there.
That's the tricky part.
I'm not a big grass seed guy because I live in an apartment and I don't have to worry about any of the lawn maintenance stuff.
Yes.
So
I'm converting my lawn. Part of it is for pollinators now, so to have a nice butterfly bee garden. I got to get some more pollinators because I realized by having more flowers in part of my yard, I got more pollination on my vegetables, and my yields
so
were
a
better
better
this
yield.
year.
Okay.
Yes, I'm not going to be sitting all spring getting my garden ready to not grow anything.
Right.
The bees and everything else that pollinates needs to do its job. So that's my soapbox moment for the day. All right, so we're getting ready for this coastal storm this weekend. I think we're going to be okay, but we got to watch. We got to watch to see how things set up and how the models change with time.
Yeah. We'll be, for the most part, I think we'll be in good shape. I think there's just going to be those problems with mostly those uninhabited, buildings on the Outer Banks that we've been talking about the past couple weeks. Those rentals, those rental places that are sitting.
Now.
Yeah, those rentals that are just sitting on the beach or sometimes in the water.
Yeah.
That is where I think, we're going to see probably another run of that happening, unfortunately. But I've been saying it, Mother Nature giveth, Mother Nature taketh. Mother Nature is the sole reason for these barrier island systems being carved out over time the way they are. Barrier islands, I have the thought that humans were never meant to build on them because they're so easily over time molded and different shaped. Yeah.
Yep.
You can look at satellite pictures in certain barrier island systems on the East Coast, especially. I think there's one floating around near New England where kind of towards Cape Cod where there's certain island features that 15 years ago were there that are no longer there.
Right.
They've just been swallowed in the Atlantic. The sand's shifted and they've been, now it's a new sandbar somewhere else or the sand's now drifted this way. That's kind of the story of parts of the Outer Banks that are really susceptible to this kind of stuff.
And speaking of sandbars, you're going to be watching for the best sandbar in the next couple of days as the wave heights could be a big deal. So
I will definitely be looking at...
I'm going to let you talk through this one.
Yeah, so I mean, for Friday, the swell will not be here yet. The winds are going to be onshore. It's going to be a mess, maybe 3 to 4 feet, especially as you work into the Outer Banks. Saturday, though, that's where I really start to think this swell starts to fill in. Buxton, Avon, Rodanthe first. Virginia Beach, Corolla, down through Kill Devil Hills. It'll likely still stay not too big. But Sunday, we could see waves 10 to 15 feet just offshore.
That's huge.
This could be a big swell. The buoys will likely hit around 15 feet. If I had to guess, at the very least. But watch as the wind will stay onshore until later in the day on Sunday. I think this model wants to kind of start to turn it offshore for maybe towards Hatteras as we get through on maybe the late morning. I think there's going to be windows down there. Unfortunately, the roads are probably going to be closed, so getting there not going to be really possible.
Right.
But I think that during the afternoon hours of Sunday, if you are south of the state line and into the northern Outer Banks or down through maybe Nag's Head, there will be a wind shift offshore. The waves will still be very large. Know your limits. That's the biggest thing when it comes to swells like this. Know your limits. Don't be paddling out there. If you kind of look at it, you see it breaking really hard and it's big. If you have any second guessing, don't go out.
Yeah.
It's not worth the trauma of going out and it's towering over you. I've tried it before, in New Jersey, back in New Jersey, I've gone out on big winter swells before where I'm like, this maybe isn't for me.
It's out of control.
And you don't want to put yourself in a dangerous situation like that.
Because that water is heavy, and it's
heavy.
very powerful.
A big storm like this, it could be, the lips of the waves are really thick. There's a ton of power. There's a ton of water moving, not just the waves itself in the impact zone that can really, wear you out over time. And then, of course, you got the beatings of an 8 to 10 foot wave if it's really that big. Offshore winds will be pretty strong after the storm moves through too. So
you need to know how to navigate the ocean in these kind of days.
Oh, absolutely. You gotta know this.
We're out of time.
That's our cue.
That's our cue. We'll see you next time on Beyond the Forecast.